Mikritik Junk. Welcome back to Pushing Technology to the Limit. This is a warning video for you folks out there that are looking at Mikritik. I've got two of these, and I've got lots of problems with them, and I do not recommend these particular units. And I'll explain briefly why there are so many problems. Let me get to showing you with what's wrong with these units in the first place. So it's a nice size, I like that, but there are so many things that are wrong with it, it's just ridiculous. So let me show you the other one that is exactly the same, but as you can see, this has a yellow cord in it, and I'll tell you right off the bat that this is a high quality Belkin cord, and it has a strain relief on it. And over here I have another one with a gray cable, but it's a little cheap knockoff cable. It comes with a piece of equipment. So on the back of these things is the first thing that I did not like about these units. So when you open one of these up now, they both are the same. They have this little door, and it's hard to see. I don't know if I can get up there far enough. But that plug is right in underneath this plastic here. Now I had to fuss with getting that in there to plug it in. And it was not too bad to unplug it. But let me show you the other one that's the high quality cable. This is the cheap one, so it gives you a little more room to work with. But yeah, let me see here. Yeah, right here. Let me get my finger out of the way. So let me show you the other one that's the same exact unit, but it has a Belkin cable in it. So here's the one with the Belkin cable in it. And look how much that there's not much room for that plug for the inside that equipment. It does go down because I can actually slide it shut, and I'll show you. And then you kind of got to push on this little thing right here, and then it snaps in, so it's locked in. But it's kind of cheap. I mean, now if I were to compare, and I got another particular setup here that I'm working on in the room, and it's a Ubiquity. Now you can find a lot of other videos on the Ubiquities that I've done. And I'm not going to really go into a lot of detail, but they are better built, and they were a lot less money than these things were. These were $5 more than the Ubiquity Light Beam M5s, and these were useless. So the other thing, and it's on both of these units, on these Mikritik, is that there's also, I'm not sure if you can see it. I don't know which way is up and which way is down. It has a little light thing on the back. Doesn't work. When these units were working, these didn't, I mean, they flashed. They didn't do that much, but they didn't actually give me status of a signal or anything. I think these were melons right off the bat. I don't know. I mean, I'll give you, I know I'm going to be bouncing back and forth here, but I wanted to tell you why I bought this particular unit. Now my Ubiquities are 5 gigahertz, and these are 2.4. The reason why I wanted to have these is to make a access point for the outside of my house, so I can log in with my tablet or my iPhone or what have you. I don't have an iPhone, but just saying, I do have a tablet. Or if somebody came to the house that was working outside that needed some access to the internet, they could use it. And so I thought these would work. When I got in, when they were working, I logged on with my laptop. The thing would not connect. Did the same thing with my tablet, still would not connect. And this was pretty pitiful. I don't like it. This whole thing was worse than a wireless router. And a lot of other things. Now, I can't show you because these are absolutely dead now. I could not get them to reset. And I basically had to beat it into the machine. And I don't mean beat, I wasn't like slapping it or anything like that. But I was, hitting it, doing the power reboot on it, and all that stuff. And it wouldn't reset. So I did some research on the internet about these. Folks, there's not much on the internet about these things. And another thing that was very poor design on their part is, in fact, is in the back of this unit, and it's on the both of these that I've got. I don't know if you can even see it in there. Let me get up. Nah, it's kind of hard. But the reset button is in there, so they have one. Yeah, I can't even really see it on my screen here, but you have to put it with a screwdriver and short circuit the thing. Now, how ridiculous is that, folks? I have never seen a more lousy design of a unit than this thing. I mean, I've had some other things that didn't work, but actually when they did work, they were very nice and easy to set up. This thing was difficult from day one. The other thing that I do not like about this is the power injector, which is called PO. That means Power over Ethernet. It's the cheapest thing that I ever did see. Let me show you that now. So here is the power adapter, or the PO. It's where you plug your power adapter into, and then you plug your network into it, and then that goes over to your access point. Actually, this is a point-to-point system. So years ago, I bought one of these units. Not with this system. It was just a power injector. And what I was trying to do was run my IP radio. Actually, no, wait a minute. No, I was trying to run my IP camera with it. It was 5 volts. I had a 50-foot cable on one of these things. The 5 volts wouldn't even go through it because it was too long. So I decided to do some testing with these particular units to see what the length cable was that I could use on one of these. It was about 50 feet was the longest that I could use on this thing. And less than that. I mean, the power, you really couldn't even hardly use 50 because the voltage was so low. It was about 3 volts by the time I got to the other end. It still transmitted fine. But the fact is that I wasn't getting the 5 out of the other end. About the only length I have gotten to have work with 5 volts is the 10 feet, or a little bit above that. I'm not really quite accurate on what the feet I'm using right now, but I'm actually using my IP radio with a PO injector, which is 5 volts, and it works great. But this unit is a 24 volt DC unit, but you couldn't just plug this thing to a power over Ethernet switch, for that matter. And I know I'm probably going over some folks' head. I'm trying to keep this simple. But in this video, it's kind of hard, because I've got so many things that I've got to show you and tell you about that are just needs to be said. And for those that are going to be first-time buyers like I was a sucker for this. Now, in years past, I have tried Mikritik. They had some routers that you could download and install on an old PC. I had a hell of a time getting that to work. And it was horrible. I gave up on it, and I don't know what possessed me to buy a Mikritik unit that was already installed. Maybe that's why I did, because it was installed and functioning. I didn't have to, go in and do a lot of pre-programming stuff. But on top of that, going back to that Mikritik, that thing was useless. When I got into one of these things, this thing had a massive menu, complicated, you really have to know about what you're doing to set one of these up. Now Ubiquiti, just instantaneously I got that to work with no issues. Now there was a few, but I'm not going to discuss that on this video. But it said, it brought up errors on this Mikritik. It says license not supported. If the license doesn't support it, folks, why do they have that feature in the software? They shouldn't. This was too much in this software that didn't even function. Now for $55, now I'm saying that's just for one of these. I bought two of them for $110. I spent a day working on these things and got nowhere. Let me show you my Ubiquiti antenna just for a teaser. And like I've said, the only reason why I went with this particular unit was because it was 2.4 gigahertz. The other one, you would have to put a wireless access point on if you want to get 2.4 out of it. So let me show you that antenna now. So I bought a bunch of these. I've got 4 of them now. And these are very easy to set up and run. And it's very easy to reset the unit. And if you watch my other videos, you'll see why that they're easy to reset. Now I'll just give you a quick show of what this thing does. So yes, I have written on the back of this thing, and you might not be able to see it too well, but it says receiver, because I wanted to make sure that I had the right dish, because I got a bunch of them. So on the back is the Ethernet cable, and it's a high quality cable. I can get it in, and then there's a little cover that just goes over that, so it covers that up. Now on the same here, I'm not sure if I can actually show you it too well, but yeah, there it is. On the bottom, there's a pinhole for a reset. And this is very easy to reset. And I've had no problems with resetting this. I've had to do it one time, maybe a couple times, and it just came right back on. Those other ones didn't come on at all once I was able to get the thing to reboot. And on that, I have a power injector here, somewheres. So right here is the power injector for the Ubiquiti. Now, it is very nice. I mean, it has the power supply all in one, and this is 100 megabits. It's not the gigabit unit, and the other ones that I was just showing you, these particular units, these were only 100 megabytes as well. But the power adapter, the PO injector, could handle up, well, wait a minute. Scratch that. I was going to say a gigabit, but no, these are not actually gigabit. These are only 100 megabits. Scratch that. I was a little bit wrong on that. Yeah, because the other one I've got is 100 megabytes. You would have to buy one that was gigabit, but it's no sense since these are only 100 megabytes. So these are capable of running a full-length Ethernet cable. You can go up to 330 feet with these. The ones that I just showed you, I don't know how far that these would go. I never tested it, especially with these Mikritik units, but I wouldn't trust it. I mean, it has thin wires and the whole 9 yards. So the next time when you go buy a wireless system and you're going to think, well, it's 2.4, that'll do it just fine. It may or may not. Now, what I mean is by these point-to-point, these are point-to-point. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but these are so that you can send it through over to another building. And the other thing that is, well, bad? I don't know. I mean, everything that I can think of this thing is bad. This will only go 5 miles clear line of sight. Now the Ubiquitis that I've just got done showing you will go 15 miles with, I guess, I'm not sure if that. I think that's clear. That's line of sight if you have nothing in the way. I've tested those other ones out and those Ubiquities, and they work through some trees, but the signal's not as good, but it still goes through. Some people say that it doesn't work at all, but I have had that work through 600 feet of trees. So, but these, I've never went out onto a field test with them. They did not work that even outside the box hardly. So anyways, all thumbs down on these particular units. I rather have the Ubiquiti. Sometime in the future, I'm going to actually do a comparison video. I've got another set of antennas coming. And they actually plug right into the router. And that will be in another video. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to kind of make a montage sometime of the different videos that I have done of these antennas to kind of give you a overall of likes and dislikes about them, so you can decide what you want to do. Now with Mikritik, I think I would just totally just trash it. I mean, this is brand new, so I'm just going to send it back. But I would highly recommend not buying one of these. If you want one of these, go with some other brand. Ubiquiti, I recommend. There's other brands out there. Whether they're lower, or higher prices, I don't know. I haven't tested them. Ubiquiti I have, and with Ubiquiti it's nice because you can have a series of different antennas. You don't have to just have M5s, which is what I've been buying, but you can also use the other dishes that go with the Ubiquiti. So that makes it nice. With those other brands, I'm not sure if all the things would be compatible with each other. So I hope that this helps you out to decide what you want to do with this. I mean, you can try it. I mean, but to me, I'm like, you know what? If I can't set this up in a half an hour or an hour, it's not worth my time. It's a waste of time. And that's what I did. I spent way too much time on these Mikritik units. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get something out of it. Please subscribe on my YouTube channel. Plenty of things on Facebook, on my website. And I'll see you back here the next time for another video. And I sure hope I have something a bit better to say than what I had to say about this particular unit. So have a great day.